Hello, my name is Elsie Ritchie, and I'm a senior communications student for the School of Business and Industry at Jacksonville State University. Welcome to Student Spotlights, a video series highlighting our current students and their successful stories. Today we are here with Patrick Yim, a senior communications student as well.
Yes.
It's so good to have you, Patrick.
I'm super glad to be here.
Awesome. Well, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, like you, I'm also a communications major. I'm double concentrating in broadcast journalism as well as digital with a minor in photography. I'm actually from this area, right down in Montford, so not too far away from here. I've grown up here my entire life, and I didn't really want to come here to JSU at first, but it kind of just became the natural choice due to distance and money and everything. So I was a little abrasive at first, but I ended up finding my home here. So I'm super excited to be here.
Absolutely. Well, that's really cool. I know JSU speaks to a lot of people around this area, and it ends up becoming home for them as well. So tell me a little bit about what you were involved in high school and where you went to high school.
Yeah, so I actually went to a Christian school down in Oxford Trinity Christian Academy until about 7th grade, and then I actually went into the homeschool system until graduation. So it was a little bit different experience than a lot of people around here have, just because they go to places like Oxford, Anniston, Jacksonville.
Right.
And I actually had the opportunity to dual enroll through Gadsden State Community College. But since I was homeschooled, almost all of my schooling was actually done on campus at Gadsden State. So I actually got that college experience a little bit early than some other people. But it was a lot of fun, and I actually grew up a little bit faster because you had to go at a faster pace than some other students. So that was really interesting.
Was it challenging coming from, a school with friends to homeschool to then a university? Was it challenging at all for you?
It was extremely challenging just because of the fact of changing so drastically from so much structure and rules with the private school to having more free reign with homeschooling, and then back into more of a structure, but at the same time kind of loose, because everybody knows college, your teachers expect you to do your own thing. So you had to learn that responsibility.
Absolutely. That's really neat. Now, from transitioning and from different school systems and kind of that drastic change, what did you learn from it personally?
I learned that you have to keep track of everything because if you don't, you lose a lot of stuff, whether it be contact with your friends or your assignments and things of that nature. So responsibility was a big thing for me.
Yeah, absolutely. So what do you think would be your biggest accomplishment before coming to JSU?
I would have to say my biggest thing would be working with the Boy Scouts of America. I actually started out in a troop in Anniston and went up through the ranks. I joined the Order of the Arrow, which is their honor society. And then I ended up becoming the chief for the Greater Alabama Council with the Coosa Lodge, which is most of the state of Alabama in the north section. And then I also ended up working with the section as well as the region and national levels for the Boy Scouts.
Now, what all did you do in that organization? Because I know there's a lot of things that you do with, involvement in that organization.
On the local level, within the state and the region, I worked more so within helping different councils communicate with each other. I also worked on the national newsletters and magazines for those areas. And then after that, I ended up becoming part of the national content team for the Boy Scouts of America with the Honor Society. And I started out as a writer there with the national promotions team, and then ended up becoming an editor with the bylaws and program.
So is that kind of what drew you to communications as your major?
Yes, I actually started out as drama, but working with the Boy Scouts and also a little bit of push from my parents, I ended up going a different route because I realized joining communications was more of my strong suit, and I was really good at writing, but more so at editing. So I've ended up finding a joy for that through there.
Absolutely. Well, besides JSU being convenient for you from being around here, what drew you to the university?
Honestly, I had already had a lot of friends who went here, just graduating before me or either transferring in. So coming in here, I had a lot of friends that I was able to get to know and see their perspectives on things when I came in. And also, the communication program, while it is kind of small, is still a really good program, and I've had a lot more opportunities here just because it is smaller, so more students have more options to do extra stuff. Right.
Personally, that's what drew me here, as well as the hands-on experience, because not only are you meeting people that are in that profession, but you're also networking with students that you keep close contact with that'll help you for jobs later on. So you say, you've gotten involved in everything your entire life. What have you done throughout the communication program? I know that you've done a lot for our program in general. Do you mind kind of doing an overview of what you've started?
So I got a little bit involved with the Chanticleer when I first started out. I was writing. I was also doing photos and a little bit of work there. And then I jumped into WLJS, which is the campus radio station. I started out as just a volunteer there, kind of helping play music here and there in the afternoons. And from there, I started my own show, which was kind of just me playing around with different type of aspects of music because I didn't really know a whole lot at the time. Since I've been in there, though, it has kind of evolved, and the People at JSU series that I started kind of turned into a radio show where I was interviewing organization leaders. I was interviewing alumni, faculty, and different things of that nature, trying to get their perspectives on different things around campus and also just life experiences they had had.
Absolutely. So I know that you've been a part of a lot of organizations. What was one that actually stood out to you the most when you first came onto campus?
I think the one that stood out the most to me would be Students for Equality, just because that was the first one I had any interaction with. It is a support group for LGBT students on campus, but more so it has evolved into something that also supports people, whether it be their disability, their religion, race, and different things of that nature. So they've kind of evolved into equality for all. And I really enjoy that fact that they're trying to support all students on this campus.
Now, I know that they do a couple fundraisers and events throughout the year. What would be your favorite event that they host?
The favorite event that they've hosted recently would probably be the Religious Muffin Social that they did last semester. The new president, Adrienne Swindle, she worked with one of the high-profile Muslims from the Birmingham area, and she came down and talked about her experiences not only in Alabama but also with the religion itself and how things for her have changed. And I thought that was really, really cool just to see the different perspective.
I think that's really interesting, and why I was really excited to interview you was to see a different side of the university that not many students know, and it's starting to get a little bit bigger and people are understanding more, and I think it's really, really neat. So what has been your favorite memory on campus thus far? My favorite memory would have to be working, again, in the communications department, but specifically with an organization that I helped start, Zeta Phi Eta. It is the communications professional fraternity for both the arts and sciences. A lot of students didn't have a place where they could just get together and work on things as kind of like a collaborative team. So a bunch of us started this group so that way we could just meet with new people, help find people in the field, and just kind of hone in our skills. And just watching that grow from the 10 people we started with to now almost 30, 40 people over our entire time has just been amazing to get to work with. Well, it's really awesome to see what you've done on campus thus far. Did you have any idea that you would be so involved in starting so many different organizations?
Actually, no. I came to JSU with the adamant feeling that I am not going to be involved. I am not doing anything on campus, no matter what it is. I'm not even going to go to events, just because I was so involved in high school with swim team, church, music groups, and things like that. I wanted a break. But after my first semester, I quickly learned that wasn't going to happen. And I got involved. And over time, I think I've been involved in 20 to 25 different organizations, and I ended up serving on leadership for at least 8 of them.
That's incredible. Congratulations on that.
Thanks.
So from everything that you have learned and just by your time here at JSU, what do you see yourself as aspiring to be once you leave the university? What are your goals and your plans once you graduate?
Well, originally I wanted to go into television, like working with news stations, being a news anchor, or even working behind the scenes with the camera or editing. But in this last 2 semesters, I've kind of seen myself drifting over towards the digital side more so, which is one of the reasons I did both digital and broadcast, is so I would have that option. But I had the opportunity to work with Zeta Phi Eta's National Council as their intern, and I ended up putting together their entire magazine from writing to editing and then doing the entire layout. So I found a new joy for that that I didn't realize I had. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to end up going into the magazine realm now, just because it has been so much fun to work on that.
Absolutely. Well, this is the final question. So what is one piece of advice that you could give any incoming student that's going to be here at Jacksonville State University?
I would have to say to get involved. Like myself, you may not want to get super involved right on, but I would definitely look around to things that say Get On Board Day or the organizational council that the SGA has, because there are several different options on the campus that you can be a part of, whether it be just fun little clubs from activities and gaming to professional organizations, or even the social Greek life with fraternities and sororities. There's so many different options. I think we have 150 or 130 organizations on campus, so there's so many opportunities for students.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for your time and letting us hear your story. Students, if you know anybody that would like to share their story with us, please comment their name below. Thank you so much for watching Student Spotlights.